You crying? Because all right, I'm not gonna do that right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I'm driving around. I have a 16-minute trip ahead of me. I forgot to do these. I know I said I was gonna start doing them every day, and then I just didn't. And no one even watches them anyway, so it doesn't matter. But today was interesting. Me and Gary Faust from Street Gonzo, we went over to an Elon Musk protest where we predicted that a bunch of Antifa members would be calling Elon Musk a Nazi, and that they would be declined. I'm talking to myself in a car, lady, get it through your head. So we show up and we see all of them. So here's the plan. First of all, the plan was, this was Gary's idea. I kind of just go along with it, honestly, because my rule of thumb is if I don't have a better idea, then we're going to go with it. So if I think something's a bad idea, but I can't combat it with a better option, then that's the best idea. And his idea was, I show up in MMA gloves, and he's like, oh, you guys don't like Tesla drivers? They were protesting Tesla. And he's like, well, we got a Tesla driver right here. And then I'll just stand over there like looking at that, like, you guys want to fight this guy? So that was kind of the idea. I thought it was a bad idea, but, I don't have to fight anyone I don't want to. And kind of don't really want that reputation of just going around beating the shit out of protesters. But anything for the clips, right? So we get there, and we quickly realize that it's a bunch of old people. So we're like, all right, scratch that. No gloves. Taking the gloves off. We don't want to freak out. I'm not going to say the N-word unless you meet me in person. But yeah, so we show up. There are people protesting Elon Musk. They're like Felon Musk, or felon with the F. I don't know what felony he did. And everyone was old. So we go to start doing street interviews, and we very quickly realize that these are a bunch of old people that want their Social Security money, because they were all saying, like, Social Security is not a Ponzi scheme. Which, I mean, if you have to say it, it's probably a Ponzi scheme. And I mean, it is the way Social Security works. They take money out of your paycheck, it goes into this big fund, and then they take money out of that fund to pay for government shit, and then more people pay into the fund, and then they pay out when you're 65 years old, if you even make it that far. That's a fucking Ponzi scheme. Anyways, you could tell these old people were upset because they had been paying into it their whole lives, meanwhile destroying the economy and fucking over our entire generation, and they wanted their money. Which is kind of what they're getting mad at Elon about. They're like, he just wants money. It's like, well, I mean, you do too. We all want money, okay? It's kind of like attention. You're like, oh, you're just doing that for attention. We all are. Attention is the precursor to money, actually. That's how marketing works. When you see ads everywhere, that's attention. And then I don't have time to give you guys a lesson on marketing. You get it or you don't. So these old people are saying how Social Security is good because they're used to it. They're conditioned. You ever heard of Stockholm Syndrome? They're Stockholmed into the way things are. And then some white guy's walking by, and he just goes, Heil Hitler! And he does the fucking salute. And we're like, whoa, what? Then we go interview him. And that guy he didn't like Elon because he said Elon is friends with the Jews. So, interesting, interesting way to just bridge the gap, to bridge the divide. Oh, you don't like Elon because he's a Nazi? I don't like Elon because he's a Jew. Let's be friends. No, they didn't like him very much. And then some lady stopped, and I talked to her for way too long about her concern for Venezuelan gangsters being deported without due process. And I couldn't understand why that was such an issue to her. She didn't know any Venezuelan gangsters. And she was saying how these Venezuelans got deported just because they have tattoos, and they had no paperwork or anything proving that I'm reading your guys' comments. It's distracting me. The Venezuelan dudes with tattoos are getting deported and they didn't have any paperwork. And I'm like, well, if they didn't have paperwork, then that means that they weren't a citizen. And then she was saying how, well, they didn't commit any crimes. They shouldn't be deported. I'm like, well, no, they're illegally here. That's the crime. That's why they should be deported. And then I started saying, well, are you aware that the same things you're mad about Elon about is the same people that Hitler was trying to... And, you know, and that's where I'm going to stop it, folks, because I don't want to get my YouTube account banned again. I'm going to read your comments real quick. Adult horse videos. Fans want to hear it. You're under 40, you'll never get your Social Security. Already accept that fact. Yeah. Social Security's stupid. I mean, really, if you pay attention to the economy in the country and the job market and how, really just how taxes work, the entire system is designed to feed off of 9-to-5 employees. When you work a 9-to-5 as an employee, you are on what's called a W-2, which I'm sure you've all filled out if you have a job. And the way that works is that the money is already taken out of your paycheck before you even get it. And then you have to contact the IRS to get money back. Now, the ideal form of income from a financial standpoint and a legal standpoint is to have your own company and to be self-employed. And there's other little tricks you can do around that to maximize your tax benefits and stuff. But basically the way everything works is, what's the word? Basically to enslave the working class, and like they get all the shit. People are like, well, the billionaires don't pay enough taxes. And first of all, you should incentivize being a billionaire. You shouldn't be taxed more because you were more successful. Then, like, why would you want to be successful? But also, they didn't get billionaires by being an employee. They became billionaires by being self-employed. And another thing is capital gains tax, which is why they say 95% of wealth is made from real estate. Because real estate, if you have enough property, you will have to make your own business to have the money flow through. But like if you buy land and it appreciates like $1 million and then you sell it, well, that's also not a good financial move. You want to rent it out so you have continuous cash flow. This is turning into a weird financial advice thing. I'm not trying to do that. But what I'm trying to say is capital gains tax is capped at about 15%. I think it's 15. Oh, Jesus, I'm going to crash. So, and 15% is half of what you would be paying for like $100,000 annually as a W-2. So the whole system is set up to fuck over the working class. Because, I mean, from their perspective, it's like, well, if you're stupid enough to sell your entire life to work for a company that doesn't care about you, then we can further take advantage of you by minimizing your tax benefits, taking your money, taking Social Security, and using that to fund the government. So these old people that hate Elon are a combination of don't understand how the world works, and also they don't give a shit because it's too late. They've already lived their life, they've made their money, they've spent their money, and they want some of it back. So in a way, I can't really blame them. It's kind of understandable. But also, it is, let's see. Like I said, Thunder, get off live, please. No. Now I'm going to stay on longer. You can eat and talk. You want to... I'm not eating. What are you talking about? I had all-you-can-eat sushi about 30 minutes ago. But here's the thing. People like this guy are just slaves, and they don't understand how the world works. And that's why you're sitting there typing away, and I'm over here being fucking rich while my car drives itself. Okay? You wish you could be like this, but you're not. And I almost just fucking T-boned a car through a... Listen. Also, there's people just defacing Teslas and just vandalizing Teslas. I don't understand. I don't think anyone supports that. That's just vandalizing Teslas. It's really just youth angst and emotions being vented inappropriately. I don't think there's any real movement behind it. I think the media's propping it up as something that is happening more frequently than it is. I mean, it seems to happen a handful of times. I saw one of the people that did it was like a trans person. Anytime a trans person commits some act of like domestic terrorism or violence, I'm kind of like, okay, you know, yeah. I mean, if you're willing to chop off your dick, you're willing to burn down a Tesla. It doesn't seem that different to me. It doesn't seem like a big leap to be like, oh, this person mutilated their bodies. Yeah, I'm sure that they're going to mutilate some property too. So when trans people commit any acts of mischievousness, any societal structural damages, it's on character. You know, trans people are a tricky one because that's like one group of people where you're like, no, like you can't do that. And I'm sure there's some cool trans people. I've actually met some cool trans people, but even still, it's like I've met some clever people with Down syndrome too. It's hey, y'all tripping. Y'all motherfuckers tripping. Black people, let's talk about them. I'm not racist, but, well, yeah, I am. But let me tell you this. I've been robbed 4 times in my life. All of them were the same color. Does that make me ignorant to think a 5th person that looks the same would do something similar? Or, quite the contrary, would that make me intelligent for having the pattern recognition skills to predict that? It would be ignorant to not be racist. Now, I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. The other night I had a comedy show right before this like networking thing. Yes, I'm comparing trans with Down syndrome. They're both retarded. So I take 2 people from this networking thing to walk over to my comedy show. It just happened to be in walking distance. One of the chicks didn't get in. She didn't have her ID. And then the dude was this black guy, and before I started talking to him, in my head, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna not be racist, and I'm gonna make friends with this black guy. Then he goes and sexually assaults some woman in the bar. He goes up to 2 chicks, grabs one of them, he's like, I'm gonna fuck both of y'all. And I didn't see that. I was on stage. I walked in when he was standing up going, fuck you, bitch! He was screaming at this woman at the top of his lungs while, this is incredibly unsafe what I'm doing right now. And and he's like, fuck you, bitch. And then she turns around and she's like, you're a pervert. And I'm like, oh my God, what did I invited this guy here. This is kind of my fault, but it wasn't, because you can't control the people. Bottom line is, racism will save your life. And if you're going to be called a name for it, if you're going to be like, you're a racist, I would rather be called a racist. God, dude, all these fucking people. There's 2 fire trucks. All right, Gary G, I'm racist, all right? I'm going to, I bought a pervert to bring her up. No, it was like a slight step up from I got paid, all right? I got paid to do the comedy show. So it wasn't an open mic. But, oh, God damn it. I'm going to meet some chicks at this bar. And they're hot and they have big boobs, and you don't have any, so I'm better than you. Chicks, I mean. You probably don't have boobs either. No, I got paid money, dude. I got paid dollars. I don't drink. I'm too good for that. I got it all up here. You guys need substances to have fun. That's weak. That's weak shit. Me, I just need a fucking flex. I just need to beat the shit out of people every day. And then I'm like, yeah, I got this. By the way, thanks for watching. I don't know how most of you found me. I was just planning on uploading this to the ether and screaming at myself. I actually prefer that nobody watches. I can speak freely when I don't feel like there's eyes on me. It's kind of therapeutic, actually, just talking to myself. I get why homeless people do it. I mean, they do it for different reasons, because they have no one to talk to. And no one understands many of us because they're all schizophrenic. But hey, there's no parking in this fucking city. God damn it. Brody Stevens, I've thought of that. I've definitely thought of that. I actually just did my first hour, and I closed it out by putting a gun to my head and pulling the trigger. It freaked everyone out. It was hilarious. Should have been there. You should look up my stand-up if you haven't yet. It's actually funny. You can say it's not, but you'd be lying to yourself. And if you actually don't think it's funny, go look up Brody Lowballer on Spotify. Listen to my music. There's no way you can hate everything I do. I do too much shit. Alright, anyways, I'm gonna go get some pussy. Later, losers. Yeah, I'm a rapper. Brody Lowballer on Spotify. Listen to Run the Jews. You guys are sick in the head. You'll like that one. I'm out.